Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what an annotated bibliography is, what are the goals of annotated bibliographies, and importantly, what do you actually include in those annotations? Sort of the short of it is an annotated bibliography, right, is simply a list of sources, properly formatted in whatever style, that includes a write-up for each annotated source. So generally the goal when you're being asked to write an annotated bibliography to create one is to demonstrate your understanding of the research in your topic area, that you know what sources are out there, which ones are important. You're also going to want to explain how you're going to use those sources to support your argument, right? So you're going to be writing a paper and it might have a thesis or an argument that you're making, and you want to be able to explain how these sources are going to support your argument. You're going to want to be able to establish there's actually enough research on your topic area that you can undertake the project. Is really an important part of an annotated bibliography. It's a good check to see if there's enough sources out there. But it's also going to show that there is some gap or question that still remains that you can answer in your paper. So what do you actually put in those annotations? Well, first of all, usually you want to give a short summary of the source. And those summaries should really focus on what the point is that the author is trying to make. What is their argument? What is their thesis? And you'll also be able to describe the evidence that the author is using to support their thesis. You'll also want to explain how it's going to relate to your own thesis. How are you going to build on the source's ideas to make your own argument? How does their thesis fit into your own paper? And how does it inform your own thesis? You might be affirming the argument the author makes, extending it to new situations, altering that argument slightly, or even disputing their ideas. Those two things are really the essential part of most annotated bibliographies. But you can also go beyond that and add a little bit more to your annotated bibliography, your annotations. Often an annotation can include an evaluation of the source, right? How convincing is its argument or interpretation? What is the quality of the evidence it uses? Are there gaps, omissions, or exceptions to its argument? Does it really include all the necessary information that you're going to need? You may want to especially point out if there are strengths to the source that will make it more useful to you in writing your paper, or you may want to note that there's weaknesses or gaps that you may need to fill in with other sources, or that you may actually want to answer in your paper. Finally, an annotation can be useful to explain the source's place in the scholarly conversation, right? Scholarly sources, journal articles, books, they don't exist in a vacuum. They always exist in this community of scholars who are constantly debating and refining, negotiating ideas over time. And that's how scholarship works. So no single scholarly article is the sole authority on any topic. Instead, there may be several different interpretations out there, and those interpretations may have evolved over time as well. Ideally, you'll be able to place your source in this debate, and that will help you actually understand its argument and how you'll be able to use it in your paper. You may want to note if there's particular schools of thought on a specific issue, and if the source belongs to one or the other. Are there sources out there, maybe two of them in your annotated bibliography, that disagree or have conflicting interpretations? You'll want to note that. Finally, you can talk about whose work does the source cite and build on? What are the citations in that work? What are the sources they're building on? And also, what sources maybe have come after that source and have advanced the conversation or created different interpretations? And you'll want to acknowledge that if you can. Thanks all. That's a quick update on how to write an annotated bibliography.